Today I'm going to show you how to build a jig to install cabinet handles. So that's either for a cabinet door or a cabinet drawer. Now, every time I do a kitchen install, whether it's IKEA or it doesn't matter because it could be custom or not, is every situation's different. These rails are different, the different size of handles, different spacings, different sizes of drawers, everything. So first we'll start off with a door and basically the hardware that goes with it. So in this scenario, first thing is usually I get the client's input on this and you just kind of eyeball, okay, where do I want this handle to be? Do I want it in line with this part of the door? Do I want it, like I usually go center, so center in this dimension and center in this dimension. And that's what we ended up doing. But it all depends on the style of the hardware, the length, the size, everything. Some protrude down, so you have to shift them up. So regardless, is figure out your placement first. And then what I do is literally, I make a jig that's totally symmetrical and universal. It doesn't matter which way it's flipped or spun. You can't screw it up, right? So really, I build the jig so that I hold it flush to the bottom of the door. I hold it tight, bang, bang, there's my holes. But how did I get there? How did I figure that out? Well, first of all, I know that I want this hole centered here. So I figure out, okay, this bottom rail is 3.5 and this is 3.5, okay? So that's half of that is 1 3/4. So I want this 1 3/4 here and from the bottom 1 3/4 that way. Then what I do, basically, because it's symmetrical, I basically have 1 3/4 from there to center and from here to that center. Then I have to figure out what the spacing is on the cabinet handle. Now I usually just hold it on the 1. So don't forget to, don't screw up your math. And this is actually 1, 2, 3 3/4 big. Okay, it's not 3 and 13/16, it's 3 3/4 big. So I just add it up and I get the length of my block so that it's 1 3/4, 3 3/4 big, another 1 3/4. Then I just rip this block, just to be Joe Cool, is I just ripped it 3.5 exactly. Then it doesn't matter which way I actually put it together. So really, I build this T. This line is 1 3/4 down. And that's pretty simple. I'll show you how I build that little jig. So on this T portion, I just find center, and because my doors are 3/4 of an inch thick, I just go 3/8 either way from center, and essentially all I have is 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, you know, in a roundabout way. I line it up, I glue it, I brad nail it, and that's how I get that, right? You can see I've got my layout marks, drill my hole, you know, I'll move through it pretty quick because it'll probably take me 20 minutes to explain it properly. But you guys will get the point. At the end of the day, like I said, it's totally reversible. It's good for any single door in this kitchen. And that's why I say doors only, okay? Drawers get a little trickier. Here's the handles for the drawers. Once again, I gotta get the customer's input on those, but I'll show you how we figured it out. Now this kitchen has different styles of doors, but essentially this one is a different size because this is a 5-inch front and we wanted the holes to be centered at 2.5 inches. And we thought that looked good. So I have a jig where it's 2.5 down, and then the rest, it makes most sense to have it here on this top rail. So we just went 1 3/4 down because remember these are 3.5. Okay, so I'll show you the jig. So here's the jig. what I do is well, I'll show you how I base this. That's a 24-inch cabinet. That one over there is a 24 and a 36. And I base this jig off the narrowest cabinet, which is an 18. So basically I just measure this top at 17 and 7/8. I cut this at 17 and 7/8. I find dead center. I make my dead center marks so that it's on the back, on the front, and down the middle. And then the spacing on these, I figure that out, and that was 2.5 inches. So each way from center is 1.25 inches. Now this one is easy. If the whole kitchen was 18-inch drawers, it'd be so simple because I would just literally line it up with the edges and drill my holes. Now because I guess I don't like getting confused because you can mess up a whack load of drawers. So what I did is I drilled all my 5-inch drawers first. So I had this set of holes, drilled all my 5-inch drawers, then I taped that bad boy off, then I can do the remainders, okay? Now, because there's different size drawers, I'll show you how to do the rest, and that's just where the center mark comes in. So here, and the most important thing to do when you're figuring out centers is you take this drawer and you figure out, okay, it's 23 and 7/8, so it should be 11 and 15/16. But instead of, in case you get dyslexic or you divide wrong because of fractions, because you know I'm still using imperial, which is crazy, not into metric yet. Anyway, I go like this. I go 11 and 15/16 that way, and then I make sure that my math is correct by pulling it the other direction. Do it every time. It's not worth ruining a drawer front by not double checking, okay? And then because these set of holes are 1.75 inches down, those are the ones for all the rest of my drawers. So when I mark this out, I make the tiniest little mark on this back edge here, which lines up with the center mark. So literally, you just line those up, and I still need to drill that, so I might as well drill it. Clamp it tight with the old human clamp. And there you go. And what's nice about the jigs is that once it's set up once, doors literally 5 minutes to drill them all, drawers 5 minutes to drill them all, and it just makes it really fast and efficient. So thanks for tuning in.